Okay, I think you gotta forgive me. I'm working with new software. So I'm hoping you hear me. And let's see. Okay. Just hoping you're able to hear me. If you are able to hear me, you can make a comment. But let's see. Just put my name here. A lot of this stuff you can't. I think I'm going through now. I heard some feedback. A lot of this stuff you really can't test out until you go live. And I'm also trying to stream to my blog site. I don't know if that's happening. So, new technology I'm learning. And I'm going to try this one more time. Stand by. Let's see. I might have to play around with this more. Okay. I might have to tab it again. Okay. So, let me just start off with if I have this up here correctly, I'm going to I'll start off with my intro. Okay, this is a okay. So let me go back to stop screening, share screening. Okay. So I'm working to make this basically a weekly broadcast, and it will go from Saturdays 10 to 10:30. I probably go over a little bit because I talk a lot. I'm sorry I came in late today, but I went with a new streaming package. I got a good discount, but I have to learn the logistics of it. So that's what I'm doing now. And each time, like I said, you don't know. You could practice, you could set up everything, but once you go live, there's more things you have to add, and you got to play around with it. But nonetheless, I want to go over a couple things. And in my introduction video, I was going to talk about the effect of COVID-19 and the real estate market. And then I wanted to go into about pricing your homes. And the reason why I wanted to go into that, because we are all real estate agents, okay, we are in dire need of listings. Now for the seller, well, that's great news because when there are less homes on the market, it drives the price up, as well as when your house goes on the market, you may receive an offer that same day, or during that course of the week or two, you may receive several offers. And then there's a bidding war, and then we could go to highest and best, unless you have already chosen an offer that you truly like and that serves your needs. So that's what's happening right now. And the people have put their houses on the market, said, well, I don't want more houses on the market because they just have to come to me. But there are people who've been waiting for a long time, especially when COVID-19 first started. And well, there was a lot of unknowns, and many people were afraid of putting their house on the market because they didn't want a lot of people walking through the house. And that is so understandable. I mean, with that fear of the deceased entering the home. So we had a little bit, that's one of the main reasons why we have a problem with having listings on the market. People are afraid. The real estate market came back and said, okay, well, we're going to leave those fears, and we're going to set up video tours, and we're going to ask our agents to do a walkthrough videos and post it to the MLS. And you could post it to Zillow. There's so many other websites that you could upload these videos, and you could get a real idea of how the house looks. And basically, that would minimize the amount of people who will be walking through it, because if they had a good idea of how the house looked, and they would say, well, this is not for me, we don't have to go out there. So it would minimize the amount of people actually walking through. But even so, even when we have a walkthrough, we are taking precautions. You know, we're wearing the mask. We'll do our best not to touch any of the surfaces as we can. Even when it comes to home inspections, home inspectors are just going in with themselves and they're videotaping most of it. This way, there are not a lot of people in the house. And there are ways to circumvent this. And of course, everything that already has been in place with seeing the availability of homes, that's already been there, but that's being now focused on even more. The videos on the houses, the many pictures. When I first came to Virginia, I think we only could put about 24 photos of homes on the multiple listing service. Now I think it's like up to 50. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of photos you could put on the multiple listing service, so that you, the consumer, will have a good idea of how the house looks, and then you can make the decision whether or not I will go visit. Other things with COVID-19 that might have held up the industry is, for instance, doing once we have a contract, when the title company has to go out and do a search of title, and there's been restrictions on that, and the way the way it was being done, there's been a couple of roadblocks. But Virginia now, as of July 1st, will be in phase 3, and that's opening up more offices and more people who are allowed in an office. That's changing. So doing the title searches, having the closings, that should be actually going to regular pace right now. So the bottom line is that the sales have been high. And if I can, and again, I'm going to share my screen. And if I go to, let's see if I could get this up. And if you're seeing this right now, let me make sure you are. Okay, good. This is the report on the Hampton Roads market as of May. And again, it takes about a month for them to tally all this information. And so we're coming now to the end of June, probably around the end of the first week of July, we should have June statistics. So as you see, the active listings are going down, okay? And there's like a decline of 32.88%. That's a lot. But that shows you the need that we have for listings. That's quite evident. Now here you have the median home sales price. That's been going up, okay? So this is a good signal here, okay, that yes, I should put my house on the market. It's a great time. And just to throw in something else, it's a great time because mortgage rates are so low. They're unbelievably low. It's unbelievable how low they are, okay? I had, for one of the posts that I put on social media, one of my loan officers got back to me, and like a 30-year mortgage is below 3% now, okay? That's outrageous. So you put your house on your market, you know, if it's priced correctly, and we're going to talk about that too, that house is going to sell. So here's pending sales, and these are sales, again, that probably were shown, excuse me, in April, and they're waiting to be closed, maybe the end of April, beginning of May, the contract was written, but they haven't closed yet. But this is up, okay, that's going up a nice amount. And here you have settled sales. Now that went down because the main reason why, because we don't have a lot of listings. That's the bottom line, okay? Settled sales are down. There's the decline. Also, new construction settled sales are down. Could be too, with COVID-19, a lot of the construction was held up. The completion of a lot of homes probably wasn't done. But the bottom line with this, and I need to add on something else because, you know, I talked about in my intro video, we talked about the stock market. The stock market, well, the last day, because more bad news came out with COVID-19, but overall, the stock market has gone up. Meaning corporations are doing well, and, you know, I don't want to go into all different type of conversations. I'm just looking at statistics of why that is or why it's not. But corporations are so strong. We see some new hiring, especially in the hospitality area. When I say hospitality, more restaurants, because people are now able to go out to eat. So in that area, you have more job creation. So with everything that's going on, like sometimes people will compare this to the Great Recession. It's not at this point the Great Recession where the market is down and there is a lot of people out of work, but we're hoping that it's just temporary. And it all depends how fast we get out of this COVID-19 crisis. The longer it lingers, yes, it's going to become more of a problem, you know. But as we get out of it, the quicker we get out of it, my feeling, and this is only my feeling, the economy will rebound a lot faster. But if it lingers on longer, we're going to have some issues. But anyway, people out there buying, people who've been potential buyers before COVID-19 are still potential buyers. I mean, unless they lost their job, but if they're in a position where they're able to work at home, they haven't lost their job, but they just have to work at home, and they have the same salary, that is helping the real estate market, because we haven't really seen. I mean, if the recession was a strong recession, long-lasting recession, okay, I'm not debating whether or not we're in a recession right now, but I'm trying to figure out if it would be long-term. But if it was, like, let's say by next year, if we're still in this recession, you probably won't see growth here, and home prices will start going down. And again, that's my speculation. Who am I? I do have a master's in business administration. We had to learn about economics, but this will be a different number. And then this would be a different number. This would be lower. This probably would be higher because people wouldn't be buying. And of course, this would be down. So that's just the current status of the market dealing with COVID-19. Okay. The real estate industry has made, let's say, detours on ways of marketing homes, the way of seeing homes, the way the background work is done with filing for title searches, but things are getting done. Okay, and again, if we stay strong and we beat this COVID-19, it's going to look a lot better, and look a lot better real soon. So let's go. Let's see. I'm going to stop screening and share screening right now. I hope this is coming out really clear on Facebook itself. But the other thing I want to do, I want to focus in on, and as I discussed earlier, what we really need. And I'm talking about all real estate agents. I'm not just talking about Chris Gargiulo, associate broker of Willow Beach Real Estate. I'm talking about everybody. But we all work down here. It's a lot different from where I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, is that we deal with co-brokerships. So a house that I list most likely will not be sold by me, but by another agency. So, probably 90%, well, even probably even higher than that, 95% of my deals, if I list a house, it was bought by a buyer from another agency. All right. If I'm out showing homes, most likely my buyer is going to buy a home. They could buy a home from a house that I listed, but most likely they're going to buy it from someone listed with Howard Hanna or Century 21. So we need, altogether, for us to work to make income, all agencies need listings, okay? Otherwise, it's no good. So I'm hoping that all companies get, listings to help us move along. So a lot of people will consider, well, should I do it on my own? Should I do a FSBO, okay, for sale by owner? And, I've seen so many workshops where it says, they say, well, you'll make more money. Okay, we'll let that go to voicemail. I've had many workshops where they say, well, you'll make more money with an agent. And it's possible. And most times you will, because an agent will know how to properly price your home and get it sold in a fast amount of time. Okay. But I always make the comparison to people who buy stocks. There are people who just go on their own. They'll study the market, and they're day traders, and they'll go and they'll buy stock and sell stock on their own. Of course, they have to still use a broker to buy it, but they'll tell them what to buy and what to sell, and they do very well. But the majority of people who are in the stock market don't have that. They sign up with with a stock brokerage agency, and they'll either have the broker call them and say, "Hey, I got a good lead here on this stock. We're expecting it to do very, very well." I'm not talking about insider trading. That's, but it's a nice new company. Its projections are very good. I think you should buy. And they say, "Yeah, okay, put in 100 shares, whatever." And then there are actually some accounts that even go higher than that, where they give the stockbroker like $100,000 and say, hey, you do what you think is best. You could say, well, I'd like to deal with the new energy type of stocks, and they'll pick out the ones to buy. But that's the difference. When you're using a real estate agency, you're buying them, or I don't want to say buying them, you're using them because you want a service, and that's what we offer. So I might have a FSBO that I may call, and they're very experienced, and they know about all the paperwork that they have to file, and they don't mind showing the house on their own and being there, and then dealing with home inspectors and dealing with closing companies, and they'll do it. And hey, yeah, they will most likely, if it's priced right, will save a lot of money. But using a real estate agent, okay, you're using it for our service. So you don't have to deal with that. You just say, here's my house, okay? You take it and run for a bit from there. And we take the photos, we put up the signs, we put up the lock boxes, we put on the multiple listing service. I also developed a website per listing and do that to market to people. We take video tours. So you're getting a service in. That's where it's different. But just to show you how important, and again, I'm going to I'm going to share my screen again. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share this. All right. And basically, this is a blog post that comes out through Keep Current Matters. And I'm actually, let's do one more thing. If this is working correctly. I think I'm going to, okay, let me try this. This actually shows, I'm going to open this up more. And I want to make sure this is showing up on my video screen. Okay, you're still seeing the old one. Oh, because I have to switch. Hold on. Uno momento, por favor. Okay, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but okay. Let's see. There we go. All right. Okay, now I think you're seeing the whole thing. All right. So the ad says, think you should for sale by owner. Think again. For sale by owner is the process of selling real estate. Okay. Okay, all right, I guess. All right. I don't know if you see my cursor mouse here. Okay. Without the representation of a real estate broker or real estate agent. The top reason homeowners decide to go FSBO in 2019, they did not want to pay a commission or fee of 35%. But homes sold with an agent that's 6% more than those sold as a FSBO. On average, according to a study by Collateral Analytics. Okay? So again, here I was talking about the services that we offer. Buyer's agents, buyer's bank. You don't have to, here's a short list of people you have to negotiate with to sell your house. The buyer, the buyer's agent, the buyer's bank, the appraiser, the inspection company, and title company. And again, we, as a listing agent, we will work with all of these people, okay, to get your house sold. And again, how do buyers find the house they buy? By the internet, by using a real estate agent, by yard sign, and newspaper. Now, look, it's only 1%, okay? Very few people are going to the newspaper to look for homes. It's very old school. The only time I would put out I'll put an ad in the paper for an open house, but if I had like a luxury home, and then luxury homes will take a little bit longer to sell, okay? Because most of your buyers are in, I'll call it the medium market, not average, but look at homes maybe from 150,000 to about 300,000. All right, but if you have like $1 million home, that's going to take a little bit longer to sell. So I might put out an ad in a newspaper or a magazine, but on general, no, because where they're going to see most of it, they're going to see it on the internet. Okay, so by doing this way and knowing how to advertise it, and then dealing with other real estate agents, as I said before, most likely a house I'm putting on the market is going to be sold. When I say sold, it's the agency that's representing the buyer by another agency. Again, it could be Howard Hanna, Century 21, Remax, okay? And that's how it is then sold, where you have the better chances of potential buyers seeing your product on the internet. And then the thing I want to add is pricing a home. It's not an easy thing to do. Some people do it very lightly, and they give out CMAs, like giving out candy. But there's so many things that come up where an appraiser will pinpoint on the issue and may lower that house. So you really have to look, not only just find houses that are in that price range and the same amount of bedrooms and baths and square footage, plus or minus 10%. But then you actually have to look at the pictures and see, let's say if there's a house that is priced higher, what upgrades do they have? Okay, how is it different? Does it have a bigger lot? Okay, does it have an attached garage, a detached garage? And all of these come into favor. And that's how an appraiser will look at it a lot closer. And doing this, and I'll give you one very good example. A few years ago, I had an investor who bought a house from me and then flipped it. And when he bought it, he said, I want you to do a CMA on what it could sell for once I fix it up. It was a foreclosure. And I told him around 220, maybe 230. So he went working on the house. About 4 or 5 months later, he called me back. He goes, I'm ready to put it on. He goes, but I want to put it on around 260. He said, I really did a lot of upgrades. And I said, I said, I'll do it because, you bought it through me and I want to follow through, but it's not going to sell at that price. So we had it on the market for a month, and then we lowered it, we lowered again. And then soon it came to the expiration of the listing, and he gave it to another agency, still at that high price, and it's still on for months. And then it finally sold at the price that I gave him. And a lot of people make the mistakes that, okay, I'm really going to upgrade this house. But you have to look within a mile radius of that house and see what's the highest. When you compare apples to apples, it's all right. It has 3 bedrooms, it has 2 full baths or 2.5 baths. And then all of a sudden you see that the top house in that neighborhood with all those upgrades, okay, with that size and upgrades, if it only sold for 220, you're not going to get much more higher than that, okay? Now, if you did something else, if you put in an in-ground pool, and in that neighborhood, in-ground pools will bring up the price. And by the way, in-ground pools always don't increase the price, okay? That's very subjective. All right, so you could add on maybe another $5,000, but you're not going to add on another $20,000 or $30,000. So doing CMAs are not easy, and it takes a lot of experience to really pin it down correct. Now, if you're in a development where the houses are basically the same throughout the development, and there's a lot of listings there, and there's been a lot of solds and pendings, then it's a little bit easier to do. But if you're in an area where it's a cookie cutter and each house is different, it's more difficult. So that's why I believe you should hire a well-experienced real estate agent. Okay? So if you are deciding to sell your house, I'm asking that you please call me, text me. You could respond to my Facebook post. This is also going out. I think it's going out to LinkedIn. It's going out to YouTube. But contact me via those venues, and we could start talking. So let me see. Can I? All right. Okay. Now I'm back here. All right. So I don't want to do more than a half hour because I don't want to get people, half hour is enough time to retain your attention. So I'll send out some posts about what we'll discuss next week. Again, this is going to be a weekly session. I might have some during the week if there's any breaking news that comes about and that we need to discuss. That's very important, and I can't wait to that Saturday. But thank you very much for watching, and we will talk real soon.